Well, I want to do a little bit of a different type of silver video out here. I'm going to try to make it short because I could BS too long, and I always try to make them short, and they don't really turn out that way. But anyway, I want to make a little bit of video here on silver, RawDog, and Cory C, because I think those two are giving the actual silver community the straight scoop on things, and people are not accepting the message. A lot of people are not accepting the message. Yeah, I know negativism, and they'll say like people are criticizing SGT Bull and Chris Dwayne and BJF and Fabian for Liberty and all this garbage too much. Well, I'm going to state my opinion on a lot of the top silver things out there, bloggers, whatever the hell they are. They're smart people, they're not stupid, but the people they're playing to are stupid. Yeah, and the thing is, they're using a lot of the middle class people as suckers, playing on their fears. And this has been pointed out by Cory C and RawDog many times and not received very well. I'm going to get on a couple things about silver today, but you know, he puts on here full of tards, and I don't know, maybe it's coming across too negative, but he's being accurate. And I'm going to tell you this: the reason this guy is putting out these videos is because he's getting pissed off. I know that, but it's also because he gives a shit about the middle class getting steered wrong by a bunch of snake oil salespeople, and that's how I see it too. If you look down in the video, you know, all these dislikes. Now, I'm not one of the dislikes. I'm the like. But anyway, you know, it puts down, you know, you get this jerk put, well, hey, it's received very well. I want to say he's a jerk. He goes, dude, you do put out videos of what you're doing in your life. You don't need to make fun of these guys all the time. Well, I know what's going on here is because he's getting mad at snake oil. And it's that most people are buying into it. So I want people to realize, you know, I agree with this stuff. I don't maybe agree. I don't know, give a shit how he puts it out, whatever. And then there's Cory C out here. Actually, I made a lot of remarks on here. And you can read them, but I'll tell you a couple of more. I said it was very interesting that David Morgan, which I don't actually think he's a bad guy. He did say, and he did do this. He said, you know, if you make a double on something, sell half. I don't think that guy's so bad, but it's quite obvious to me, or suspicious to me. How's this? God. That if he, you know, he said he sold his bunch of silver on Thursday, April 28th, and he got lucky. Yeah, okay. But, you know, what was he advising people to do? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, when you're getting, the only people are taking this other side of the equation, like when the sharks sell, Sprott sells on April 28th, Sprott sells in August 2011, early September 2011, when it's at the high. When the sharks are selling, they're selling to somebody else. And, you know, you can argue with me, but the only side of the other side of the equation I can see, it's not going to be Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan. Jamie Dimon isn't lining up to buy silver, or Lloyd Blankfein, or Vladimir Putin in Russia to buy it at $47 an ounce. They got to find other people, and that's where you're seeing the silver bloggers coming on hot and heavy. The sky is falling. It's going to 100. So, in my mind, I'm totally convinced. I'll just say for this, have your suspicions. I am totally convinced. You know, it's interesting. You know, he points out, he criticizes BJF on here a lot. And, you know, I see like 20 minutes of technical analysis that tells me nothing on those videos. That's what I got out of them. But I could see he's in the same, Cory made the same observation. But you know what's interesting is, and I see now he's like more likes than dislikes, but people generally don't like hearing this. They just want to hear good news that silver is going up all the way, and if they hear any bad news, they don't want to hear it. But it is going up. I mean, yeah, it's had a pullback today. I'll get into the reasons. Part of it is the PMI data coming out of Europe. You know, it's at 45. You know, 50, 51 is like no growth. Getting below 50 means there's a retraction. There's a deterioration in the economy and output and manufacturing output. PMI in Europe is 45. What may bring this up is a bunch of, I call them fake phony numbers out of China. I think that's going to help bring this up. After the election, and, I'm going by also what Mark Farber says, but, it's like you got to go by people that know stuff better than I know, but I throw my own take on things. But it's like you got to make sure you filter out the people that are total BS. And there are a lot of pump and dumpers on silver. There's a lot of people out there saying the sky's falling next week, or anytime something happens bad in the news, they'll say this is the end. Fabian's another one like that. These guys are nuts, man. I'm telling you. And I think they're smart. They're really not crazy. What I think they're doing is, and that's the old chart from the PMI data. The new stuff isn't in, but it's trickling in. But what I think they're doing, they're very smart. They're very smart people. These people that are putting out, the main channels, they're not stupid. But the people that are getting suckered are the listeners. And that's because they're being told extreme expectations for a lot of different things. Now, in the case of silver and gold, there may be a point where there's a panic into this metal, into one, gold and silver, both those metals, and there may be a crazy valuation put on it. But say for instance, in Germany, for instance, it's still gold went to a point one time where you could buy a whole city block for 1 ounce of gold. But if you didn't buy the city block for the ounce of gold at that time, you blew your opportunity. The problem I have with the message of like a lot of these, and this Cory C points this out, RawDog points this out, and they get hammered for it, but they're being honest about it, is that these guys are permanent bulls, not Cory C and RawDog, but the other people that, running the major channels. They're permanent bulls. They're never going to tell you to sell. They think there's going to be, I think they're not that stupid. Because they never really bring out a lot of criticism on, say, you look back, look at the review to history. Look what Max Kaiser did. Max Kaiser was saying, buy silver, break J.P. Morgan. Yeah. Anyway, I think this guy's stupid. He's not stupid. He's a clown, but he's not stupid. God, he's not stupid in any way. He's the one that tells you Eric Sprott is a, silver vigilante. Buy silver, hold silver. What do you think these guys are doing? Now, I'm not telling you not to get rid of your silver. Like Cory C, he says he's heavily invested in silver. RawDog's heavily invested in silver. I believe in physical silver. I mean, it's the same thing, right? Okay? But, I know what they're getting mad at is because the middle class is getting screwed from another angle. Not just J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs and that kind of stuff. It's getting screwed from the silver sharks. And some of the largest silver channels out there probably, in my mind, in my suspicious little mind, are probably working in coordination with the silver sharks. Somebody's going to have to buy the stuff when it goes to $400 an ounce. And it isn't going to be the sharks at Wall Street or whatever it goes to, say $150 to $200 an ounce or whatever. It isn't going to be the sharks on Wall Street. You know who it's going to be. It's going to be the middle class. Now, if they sold it to some snake oil salespeople like doctors and psychologists and, some of these financial turds that work in an office for $350 an hour, that's fine by me. But I don't want them selling silver to the blue collar worker that works his ass off and, puts his hard-earned money down on things. There's a lot of jackasses I would love to sell silver to at $1,000 an ounce, real dollars. And I could do it without batting an eye and look at them and tell them you got a great deal there, bud. But, what I'm out for is the number one people. And I don't want to see, the hard-working blue-collar workers in the United States get ripped off by these silver snake oil salespeople. That's kind of what they're doing. They're not too cool, man. So anyway, I could tell you some stories because I've been exposed to some crazy shit. I could probably tell you some more real stories about the elite Lindsey Williams than he could. Yeah, for real. I can't say this shit on YouTube that much. But then, I'll be playing it up more than I'm worth, too. You know, I would be playing it up more than worth. But it's like if I knew which way the price of silver was going on a daily basis, or the price of any commodity on a daily basis, I'd have more money than George Soros inside of 1 year's time. I mean, it would be in 6 months' time. So, you know, when people put out all these technical analyses, it's like they don't know what the hell they're doing. If they're putting that out of public information, they don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm actually going to go shooting more from the hip. Not exactly, but more like common sense, business sense, horse sense. And that's really been my best method I found for myself most of the time. And there's been many times I seem to have made a shitload of money for some very wealthy people. But you know, to tell you the truth, very wealthy people don't share, and they're jackasses. And they're controlled by evil bitches, too. That's really what happens. So, it's not easy to get your own damn money. But whenever I made investments, they went up pretty damn good. They went up pretty good. And I'm sticking with silver. So I'm not saying it's a bad investment. I think it's going to go up very good. But these guys, a lot of these guys that are on the internet, I don't trust about. You know, they're pushing fear, and they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, even in general economics 101 in the markets. It is a let me put it this way. Maybe they do know what the hell they're talking about, but what they're telling you people is a pile of bullshit. They want you to buy at all costs. No matter what. No matter how high it goes, buy more. Or buy on the dips. But never sell on the highs. Crap. I don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, I just got to say something. This is more like a reaffirmation of what RawDog Cory C says. It's correct. It's correct. They're throwing out genuine, bona fide, real fact. Well, maybe they throw a little too much mud sometimes, but I know why they're getting pissed off. I know why they're getting pissed off, because, and it's not because they don't give a shit or just because they're getting pissed off. They're getting pissed off because the middle class is being sold a pile of snake oil by some shrewd people that are acting like they give a shit. They don't care. They don't care. They're giving you a bunch of rotten advice, and they're smiling to the bank all the way. I actually kind of don't like doing these sometimes too, but I'm realizing you have to do them because it's got to counterbalance what's going on with their crappy financial advice. It sucks. It sucks. I mean, you know, if silver went to $100 tomorrow, they'll be telling you better buy more because it's going to go to $200. Okay. You know, there's a lot of flaws in the arguments for silver, but it's still not. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad investment, but they're exaggerating. They're exaggerating. They got a lot of exaggerations out there. It's going, you know, you can't do without it. Bullshit. Silver, if all the silver on the earth even disappeared, there'd still be ways to produce things without it. There'd be other alternatives. See, this, you know, a guy that says that is BJF. You know, it's totally essentially. Bullshit. Bullshit. There is no such thing as a commodity that's totally essential. It could spike like, you know, if all the silver in the world disappeared, it would spike through the roof like crazy. But then it would start coming down. It's like science has a way of getting around things when there has to be. This guy, you know, I think he does. I think these people do know better. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. They do know better. That's my opinion on it. And they're steering the middle class wrong. And I see that, you know, people like RawDog Cory C notice that. So it gets them mad. I mean, it gets more under the skin of RawDog Cory, but still, I mean, they're giving you accurate scoop. So, you know, this is just a reaffirmation of what they're saying. Now, today, silver probably took a hit because of the PMI data coming out of Europe, too. That looks bad for industrial metals. 45 PMI. And China's PMI looks pretty good. It's probably bullshit. But, you know, any investor with any kind of common sense brains knows the biggest market for China is Europe. And if Europe's looking like really crap, where are they going to sell to? Right? So, and also know Chinese government fudges the numbers. So, that tells you something else too. So, but still, I think it's going up because, like I said, they're overspending. They're actually creating more dollars, more currencies across the board in all the globe. I mean, even Japan is doing more quantitative easing as of last Tuesday. So Europe's doing, they all are. All the currencies are going down, so that's going to have to bring real assets up. There's no doubt about it. But what really is going to bring up silver like crazy and gold and oil is war in the Middle East. And see, that is where I may have miscalculated because I expected war in the Middle East to happen in the late spring. Now, maybe it could have or whatever, but you could tell it's pretty much on now because of the 9/11/2012 event that occurred with Christopher Stevens and the release of the Muhammad movie. They already lit the fuse. The devils are coming out. So war's on the horizon. So what that means is that will be the major fear that's going to bring the big investors into gold and oil and silver, and that'll cause those commodities to go up a lot. But there's going to be a limit to how much they're going to go up. But people, do what the hell you want. If you don't want to listen to what the hell I say, go listen to the sharks, because I'm going to tell you right now, those large channels, I think, are working with the silver sharks. I'll leave it with that.